Stop right here. I know you almost kept scrolling. I know this is not the first video you have passed today, and I know your heart is tired enough that even hope feels like something that costs too much right now. But I need you to understand something before you move another inch. You did not find this message. I placed it in front of you. I arranged this moment, this pause, this exact intersection of your exhaustion and my word, because there is something I have been needing to say to you directly, and today is the day I am saying it. You have been waiting for a sign, a confirmation, something that tells you I have not gone quiet because I have gone away, something personal enough that you would know without the shadow of a doubt, that the God who made you still sees you, still knows your name, still holds the prayers you have been carrying long enough that some of them have started to feel less like faith and more like grief. This is that sign. Stay with me, because before this message ends, I am going to tell you something about this season of your life that is going to change the way you see everything you have been through. Not just comfort you, change you. And I need you here for all of it. I want to start by telling you what I see when I look at you right now. I see someone who has been carrying something heavy for a long time without letting it show. You have become skilled at that. Skilled at the smile that arrives on cue. At the I am doing okay that slides out so naturally that even you sometimes believe it for a moment. You have learned to compartmentalize your pain so completely that you go entire days, entire weeks, without letting it surface, and then it catches you alone, in the car, or in the shower, or in those quiet minutes before sleep finally comes, and it comes out all at once, all the weight of it, and you press your face into something, and you cry in a way that no one has ever seen. I have seen it. Every single time I was there in the car when you gripped the steering wheel and asked me why. I was there in the shower when the water covered the sound of your crying, and you thought you were completely alone with your breaking. I was there in the dark of your bedroom in the hours between midnight and dawn when the silence around you felt like a verdict, when everything in you wanted to believe that I was still good, still working, still for you, and everything you could see was telling you a different story. I was there. I did not look away. I did not grow impatient. I did not check the record of your failures and decide you had used up your allowance of grace. I was there, and I am here now, and I need you to receive what I am about to say not as a thought that crosses your mind, but as a truth that anchors in your spirit. You have never, not once, been alone in this. But I also need to go deeper than comfort today because I know you, and I know that being told you are not alone, while it matters, while it is true, is not the thing that is going to unlock what has been closing up inside you. What I need to speak to today is something more specific, something you have not told anyone, something you are not entirely sure you have fully admitted to yourself. Can I name it for you? You have started to wonder if I have given up on you, not lost interest, not become distracted, given up. You have started to suspect in the quietest and most private room of your heart that there is something about your specific situation, your specific past, your specific collection of mistakes and struggles and broken places that has put you outside the range of what I am still willing to do. That somehow, somewhere along the line, your story became the exception to the promises. You watch other people receive answered prayers and you are happy for them. You genuinely are. And then you walk to your car and you sit there for a minute. And there is a feeling inside you that you do not let yourself name. It is part grief, part shame, part something that feels dangerously close to envy. And you push it down quickly because people of faith are not supposed to feel that. But I am telling you today, you do not need to push it down in front of me. I already know it is there, and I do not love you less for it. I love you with full knowledge of every complicated feeling that lives inside the faith you are trying to hold together. There is something else you have been performing. You have been going through the motions of your spiritual life with the quiet fear that the motions are all that is left. You pray because stopping feels like surrender. You read because the alternative is sitting in silence that feels too loud. You worship in the congregation with your hands raised, and your voice in the song, and something in your chest that is hollow. And you ask me afterward in the privacy of your own mind, if I can tell the difference, if I notice that the fire that used to be there has been reduced to something you are trying to keep lit by sheer discipline and will. I notice, and what I see is not a failure of faith. What I see is someone who has been faithful so long in so dry a season That faithful now looks like showing up even when there is nothing left to show up with. And I want you to understand something about that. Showing up empty is not a lesser offering. In some ways, showing up empty is the greatest offering. The widow's 2 coins. Not because the amount was impressive, but because it was everything. You have been giving me everything you have left. Every hollow worship, every mechanical prayer, every stubborn refusal to stop, and I receive every single piece of it as precious. But I also see what it has cost you. The hope you started with, that wide-open expectancy you carried in the early days of believing for this thing, you have had to narrow it down, not all at once, slowly, incrementally. The way you stopped letting yourself imagine the full version of what you prayed for because the full version started to feel irresponsible, like setting yourself up, so you asked for less. Then you asked for less than that. And then somewhere along the way you stopped asking out loud at all because asking out loud meant the possibility of another silence. And you had already accumulated enough of those to last a lifetime. I see the smaller version of the life you have talked yourself into accepting. And I need to tell you today, with the full authority of the one who dreamed you into existence, you are not supposed to be living in that smaller version. The adjustment you made to protect yourself from disappointment was understandable. It was human. It was the only rational response to the evidence in front of you. But evidence is not the whole story. And I am not finished. I need to ask you something now, and I need you to sit with the question instead of answering it quickly. Do you trust me, or do you only trust me when things are moving? I am not asking that to accuse you. I am asking it because the answer is going to determine how you hear the rest of what I have to say. Because what I am about to tell you requires a different kind of trust than the trust that comes easily in seasons of visible provision. It requires the trust that says, I believe you are good even in the middle of the evidence that I cannot currently see it. And that trust, my child, is the most powerful thing a human being can offer me. It is the thing that moves mountains. It is the thing that opens what has been sealed. And it is the exact thing you have been building, whether you knew it or not, in this very season that has felt like nothing is being built. Before I tell you what I have been doing while you have been waiting, I need to tell you what I have been protecting you from. There was something you wanted deeply, something you were certain was from me, something you prayed over with the kind of faith that feels conclusive, and it did not come. The door stayed closed, the answer stayed no, or at least stayed silent, which felt like the same thing. And that silence was one of the most devastating experiences of your faith. Because you had gone all in on it, you had let yourself fully believe, and the believing was not rewarded with what you believed for. I closed that door, and I need you to hear me say what I am about to say and actually let it land. I closed it because I love you. Not in the abstract, theological, everything works together kind of way. In the specific, detailed, I know what is on the other side of that door kind of way. I could see what you could not see. I could see the version of your life that would have unfolded if that door had opened when you wanted it to, and it was not the life I made you for. It looked like the answer from where you were standing. From where I was standing, it was a detour that would have cost you years. It was something that would have looked like your blessing and functioned like a chain. You called it a loss. I called it a rescue. I know that does not erase the grief of it. I am not asking you to go back and feel grateful for the pain in the moment you were in it. Pain is pain, and it deserved to be felt. But I am asking you to let me reframe the story around it. Because you have been living inside a story that says, God passed me over, and I need to replace that story with the true one. God was watching too closely to let you settle for less than what He designed. Every door I closed was a door I closed. Not the enemy, not your lack of faith, not your unworthiness. Me, I was the one standing in the doorway, and I was standing there because I could see the whole corridor, and you could only see the door. Let me tell you about the door that is coming. I want to talk now about something I have been doing that you could not see. I need you to lean in here because this is the part of the message that is going to sit with you long after the video ends. While you were in the waiting, while the days were adding up in ways that felt less like patience and more like exile, while you were measuring the silence and trying to decide what it meant, I was working. Not in a general, distant, sovereign sort of way, specifically on your behalf, in the particular details of your particular life. I have been preparing something for you that you are not ready to hold yet. not because you are not worthy of it, but because the person who is able to hold it well is a version of you that does not fully exist yet. And I have been building that version in this season, in the waiting, in the exact process you have been calling unproductive. There is something that has to be healed in you before the thing I have promised can arrive without damaging you. There is a place in your identity that was broken before you were old enough to protect it, a belief written over you without your permission, a voice that has been running in the background of your decisions telling you that you are too much, or not enough, or ultimately the kind of person that good things abandon. That voice has been doing work in your life that you may not have fully mapped. It has made you sabotage things quietly. It has made you shrink from the edges of your own potential. It has made you do the asking with one hand and the protecting with the other, wanting the thing while already bracing for its loss. I have been reaching into that place. This season has been, among other things, a surgery, not punishment surgery, the kind that is done in quiet, the kind whose purpose is not visible until the healing is complete, the kind that feels for a long time like it made things worse before it made things better. But I am the one holding the instrument, and I know exactly what I am doing, and I have not cut a single thing from you that I did not intend to remove. The bitterness I have been taking out, the fear of abandonment that was making you hold people at a distance, the self-protection that was keeping you isolated in the very season you most needed community, the resignation that was making you treat my promises like beautiful ideas rather than actual commitments. I have been removing all of it, carefully, completely, because these things left in place would have made the blessing a wound. I have also been arranging. There are people who are going to be part of your next season who do not know yet that they are coming. I have been preparing them. I have been working in their stories the same way I have been working in yours, shaping them, refining them, moving them toward the intersection where they meet you and everything shifts. You are going to look back on that meeting and call it coincidence. I will let you because I know what you mean. You mean it felt too perfectly timed to be random. You are right. It was not random. It was the culmination of a long preparation that neither of you could see from your separate positions. There are doors that are already unlocked. Already not doors I am considering opening. Doors I have already moved toward. Doors that are ready. Doors that are waiting only for the moment of your arrival at them, which is a moment I have already ordained. The provision that is coming, the healing that is in motion, the clarity that is about to settle over a situation that has been confusing you for too long. None of it is contingent on you figuring out the right formula or performing the right number of faithful acts. It is contingent on me, and I have already decided. I have also been protecting you from things whose names you will never know, dangers that walked past you without touching you because I walked in front, situations that almost developed and then did not, that looked like ordinary circumstances from the outside, but that I intercepted at a level beneath what you could observe. You have been guarded in this season in ways you will not fully understand until eternity, and I need you to know that the grace on your life has not been suspended. It has been active, constant, specific to you. And there is one more thing I have been doing that I want to name before we move forward. I have been recording, not your sins. I am not keeping a list of your failures. What I have been recording is your faithfulness in the dark. Every morning you woke up and chose me even when you did not feel me. Every prayer that cost you something to believe in while you were saying it. Every time you could have compromised and did not. Every time you could have walked away from your faith and stayed. Every act of trust that nobody witnessed and nobody applauded. I have been keeping that record, and it is long, and it matters, and it is not invisible to the one who rewards in the open what is done in secret. You have not been wasting your time in this season. You have been making deposits into something you cannot see the balance of yet, and the balance is larger than you know. Now I want to speak to the state of your faith directly, because I know what this season has done to it, and I want to address it without pretending otherwise. The faith you have right now is not what it was. The flame has been pressed by wind and weather until what is left is smaller, quieter, less certain of its own temperature. You know this. You have tried to fix it, tried to revive it by doing more, reading more, praying more, attending more, and sometimes it works for a day and then it cools again. And you have started to worry that the cooling means something permanent, that this is who you are now. Someone who used to believe fiercely and now just believes carefully, guardedly, with one hand on the exit. Here is what I think of the faith that remains after a long, dark season. It is the most honest thing you own. The shiny faith of the easy season. I loved it. It was real, and it was mine, but the stripped down, worn down, I am not sure I can do this much longer faith of the proven season. That is the faith that moves me. That is the faith that says I have every reason to stop, and I am not stopping. That is the faith that Abraham walked in when the altar was built and the knife was raised. That is the faith that Paul carried into prisons and shipwrecks and stonings. Not the absence of fear, not the absence of doubt, the choosing of me in spite of both. I am not asking you to manufacture fire you do not have. I am asking you to bring me the ember. One small, stubborn, not quite extinguished ember. Bring it to me and watch what I do with it. A bruised reed I will not break. A smoldering wick I will not extinguish. This is not a metaphor. This is a description of how I handle exactly what you are holding right now. And I am asking you to open your hands. I want to speak something over your life now. I want you to receive what I am about to say not as encouragement, not as motivation, but as a word from the one who holds your future and has never dropped it and never will. The heaviness is not your permanent address. You have been living in this season long enough that it has started to feel like who you are. Like the weight is just part of your constitution now. Like tired and delayed and overlooked is the architecture of your story. It is not. It is a chapter. And chapters end. I am turning this season, not eventually, not when you have earned it. Now the shift is already in motion. It may not look dramatic when it starts. The first evidence of it may be something small, a door that opens in a direction you were not expecting, a peace that settles in a place where fear has been living, a conversation that changes something. Do not minimize those early signs. They are not coincidences. They are the first visible evidence of something I have been constructing in the invisible. Someone hearing this is carrying a weight in their body, a fear about their health that lives in the background of every day, a diagnosis or a symptom or a shadow on a scan that has been sitting in the back of their mind like a stone. I am the Lord who heals, not who healed once in history and has since retired from that work. Who heals, present tense. I am moving in a body right now as this word is heard. I am in the cellular structure of someone's fear. I made the body you are afraid of. I know every layer of it, and the prayer you have been praying over it, the one you keep bringing me with less confidence each time. That prayer has not been lost. It is heard. It is answered. The answer is coming in a form you will recognize. Someone here is carrying their family, a child who has walked away, a marriage that is carrying more than it was designed to carry, a parent who needs a miracle, a silence between two people who once had everything to say to each other. I am at work in every one of those relationships. The people you love are not outside my reach just because they are outside your ability to reach them right now. They are mine. I made them. And I am moving in their story the same way I am moving in yours, even when neither of you can feel it. Someone is carrying a financial weight that has touched their dignity. That has made them feel shame in places where there should be provision. That has reduced their world to the size of a problem that follows them into every room. I am Jehovah Jireh. That name is not a historical designation. It is an active identity I provide. And I provide in channels that are outside the ones you have been watching. Do not make permanent decisions based on a temporary season of scarcity. The provision is in motion. Someone has been alone in a way that goes beyond the physical, spiritually alone. Not surrounded by enemies, but surrounded by people who do not understand the weight of what they are carrying. People who mean well and say the wrong things. People who offer solutions when what you needed was someone to sit with you in it. I know that loneliness. I know what it is to be in a room full of people who do not understand. I know what it is to pour yourself out and find no one who can hold what you are giving. And I want to tell you, I am the one who understands entirely, not partially, not through approximation entirely. And you are never alone with me in the room. Now I want to invite you to do something. Before this message ends, I want you to type something in the comments. Not because this channel needs activity, because I want you to make an act of faith in public, even a small one. and I want you to feel the weight of what you declare. Type one word. Any word that says, I received this, I believe, I am still here, waiting, claiming, present. Let it be small. Let it be honest. Let it be yours. Because faith expressed becomes faith strengthened, and I see every declaration my children make, even the quiet ones typed into comment sections at 10 of the clock at night. If something in this message found the place you have been protecting, if the thing I described today sounds like the thing you have been carrying in private, I want you to share this video with someone who is in that same place. You know who they are. You may not know the details of what they are carrying, but you know they are heavy. Send it to them without explanation. Let it find them the way it found you. Be the reason someone does not give up today. And if this is the kind of voice you need to hear again when the season gets heavy again, subscribe to this channel. Turn on the notification because I will keep speaking. And the message that meets you in your next hard moment may be the one that changes everything. And now, my child, to you directly go. Not the way you came in, not beneath the same weight, not inside the same story, not reading the silence the same way. Go knowing that I told you today what I have been doing while you waited. Go knowing that the preparation is not punishment, that the delay is not rejection, that the closed doors were love in a form you had not yet been given the context to recognize. Go knowing you are seen, every part, the brave parts and the broken parts and the parts you are still trying to repair. I see all of it, and I call all of it mine. Go knowing you are held. Not at arm's length, not with conditions, held the way a father holds the child who has been through something that should not have happened to someone so young, with the full force of a love that absorbs what you have been through and refuses to let it be the final word. Go knowing you are chosen. Before the foundations of the world I knew your name. What I chose at the beginning of time is not undone by what has happened inside of time. You are mine completely forever. Exactly as you are today. Your story is not over. I do not write incomplete stories. I am with you always until the end of the age, until the end of your age, until the moment I see you face to face, and you finally understand completely everything I was doing in the seasons that were too dark to see in. If this message found you today, leave one word in the comments. Just one. Let it be your amen. Let it be your flag planted in the ground of this moment that says, I was here. I heard, I believe, because you were meant to be here, and I have been waiting to tell you this for a long time.